Good evening, everybody. We're off location today. In fact, we're off location for the entire episode, and we are visiting one of the cultural epicenters of York's downtown area, York's Social Dance Studio. Now, a lot of you have heard about their Friday night swing dancing program. That's been going on for years, but there's a whole lot more going on at the dance studio. In fact, there's a whole lot more going on with swing dancing. We started off just going to profile the swing dance night and the fabulous, excited dancers who take lessons and go swing dance every evening. But once we started getting involved, we discovered that there was a whole culture of people that are absolutely adoring of swing dance, of its history, of its technique. These people travel all over the country to go to exchanges, swing dance parties, and to get to know each other. In fact, they become like family. So we're going to spend the next hour delving into contemporary swing dance culture. Yes, there is a very separate and distinct contemporary swing dance culture, which pays homage to the dance that grew up in the 40s. But trust me, it's definitely reached the age of majority. So sit back, relax, and learn all about a very special part of contemporary Americana, the swing dance.
Culture of me.
It is a place where the truth should be kept.
The arts and music scene really shows what people are about.
Share what's going on here in York.
Makes you feel like a family.
Local art has a face that most people can relate to.
Our community up here that sticks together.
Art is art.
Great potential, great artists, poets, singers, writers, directors, filmmakers. It's fantastic.
Everyone has a story to tell.
That moment, you have to capture that moment and share it with the rest of the world.
Showing something that maybe is not been seen before.
Without art, what is like?
I am art. I've been art ever since I was born.
It really adds a great deal to our community.
We don't really need art to exist, but you need art to live.
Culture made is important, and I think playing out is important, and playing open mics and playing wherever you can play. It's all about us all checking in with each other.
Well, hello everybody out there in culture and mainland. Of course, I'm Carla Christopher, and we are on location at a very special place for our whole episode this evening, York Social Dance Studio, which is a hub of not just social dance, but specifically swing dance and its fabulous various subcultures. Now, as we are going to delve tonight into the subculture that is swing dance, we have a very special guest who is going to be introduced tonight. This is Kristin Cole. Now, Kristin in her day life is an associate professor of English at Penn State, York, but she is also your culture hound. Everywhere culture goes, Kristin is there to discover it. And tonight, Kristin, who is an accomplished swing dancer herself, will be introducing us to some of the awesome things that are going on, not just here at the Social Dance Studio, but all over the area. So, Dr. Kristin Cole, I couldn't resist the doctor part. I don't normally use it, I promise. Would you please tell Culture and Mainland how you ended up stumbling onto the dance studio and getting involved in swing dance culture?
Well, I've always loved to dance, and I live very near here, but I'm very shy, and I finally, in August, walked through the front door and started actually taking ballroom classes, since swing is actually a kind of ballroom. And I'm just hooked. I've been doing it ever since. I think I've missed one ballroom class since August. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, I never had that kind of attendance when I was a student. So, yeah.
Absolutely love it. Now, I had no idea that swing dance actually has its own culture. And one of the things that is indicative of that culture is the exchange, which is where one area hosts a whole group of swing dancers and swing dance clubs from all over the region, and they will come and descend upon the town for an entire weekend. Right now, York is taking part in an exchange, which means these dancers have been coming from everywhere, from Pittsburgh, New Jersey, New York, Lancaster, and they've been here all weekend, dancing all afternoon, enjoying swing dancing, competitions, Charlestoning, Lindy hopping, and East and West Coast swinging, and they'll be doing it until 5 o'clock in the morning, long after we have pooped out and just been ready to go to bed with it.
Says you.
But let's head into the studio, let's meet with some of these amazing and talented dancers, and let's talk to some of the people that make the swing dance culture what it is, a powerful, growing movement of alternative dancers who want something different and are willing to train, to learn, to rehearse, to travel and to invest themselves fully in making this something to really dance about.
Studio, and a few really cool tips if you ever want to get into swing dancing. We always like to start with what we always call the basic in East Coast swing, which looks like so. It's really nice and has this really cool feeling of what we call a rubber band, like point, really nice here, and it's really easy. All our weight's more or less on one foot at a time. There's never any split weight here, and this is what we do all throughout the night. This is about 98% of my dancing. About y'all, you dance with me. So we have some rotations, so that's always a lot of fun. So that's your basic. It literally is danced as much as anything else in the dance. Off of that though, most followers like to have a little bit more fun moments. So we usually like to teach a couple turns right out of the gate. Usually in our beginner lessons I teach a couple, so we usually teach like an arch turn, looks like so. Really nice and easy, nothing crazy. And then we come back together. It's why it's called an arch turn is I'm making an arch and guiding my follow through. It's nothing real crazy, but it's a lot of fun. Gives the follow something to do, gives the lead something to lead. So you don't always have to have that awkward 3 minutes of I don't know you. You can always break it up with that. One of my favorite ones that we don't get to teach a whole lot is walks. So we usually lead into it with our basic, out of our basic. We usually lead into a side by side, and I just like to walk a whole lot. One, because it's really nice and easy. The music's really fast. You can get lazy. You can just kind of walk, and then you can switch it up and say, hey, we're gonna walk backwards now. And you'd be surprised, even though walking seems boring, in swing it's really not. And then our big bread and butter we used to teach a lot of our beginners would be known as a waist roll into a free spin. Swing dances turn spare tire and follow, have some fun. Looks like so. We start out here in open actually usually, and I lead what's known as a spare tire. Looks like so. And then I lead a nice follow free spin, which gives us both something to do. Again, from a different angle here. And I lead behind me. Follow free spin back to your basic again. Yeah, that's what we'll also get to learn on any given Friday when we teach our basic lesson before every dance.
Plus a few extra little goodies on our Friday nights.
Yeah, we also like to teach a little bit more in technique and that kind of stuff, but that's the basics of what you really get to learn in a lot of places.
5, 6, 7, basic 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Any questions? Ready, and lead, ready, go. Basic 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 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 All right, it's moving along. Don't rotate. 7, basic 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Basic 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Rotate.
So on Friday nights, with a basic admission price, you get 2 beginner lessons, one in West Coast and one in East Coast. What we were just doing was East Coast.
Has a little bit more bounce to it.
Yep.
Looks like so. We have a nice bounce. West Coast has a very nice smooth feel gliding along the floor. A lot of fun.
And then after our lessons, we dance from about 9:15 to midnight or later, depending on the evening, the crowd. A lot of social time, a lot of dancing time, obviously. A lot of fun.
And that's a much more group setting, so you may be taking a lesson with 6 new people, 13 people who've taken the lesson 3 or 4 times, and there's people who still, anytime I'm somewhere, I've been teaching now for quite a few years actually, and I still take a beginner lesson everywhere I go. It's nice to help new people, and also you might learn something that you didn't even think, even though it's still a beginner lesson. As far as private lessons, that's probably our fast track to being where a lot of people want to come into swing dancing and say, yeah, I want to do what they're doing. And they come a couple Fridays in a row and they're having fun, but they look themselves in the mirror and they're like, I don't quite look like that guy over there. I don't quite get to move like that. And it's like anything, you got to practice it. So our surefire way to get you where you would like to be right out of the gate would be our private lessons, and that is 45 minutes of very private instruction that's very focused into your area of where you would like, and it's the quickest way I can say that it improved my dancing when I started taking private lessons.
Yep, mine as well.
And yeah, plus you get to meet a whole lot of people. That's the best part about it.
Basic and
to today as swing dancing is actually what has evolved out of a whole group of dances that started in the 1920s. Now, although that music predates actual swing dancing, these dances came from partner dances that started in the 1920s in Harlem, and now they're still danced today in different forms. One of the first of these was the Lindy, or the Lindy Hop, which is a fusion of several dances that came together based on jazz, tap, a dance called the Breakaway, and the Charleston. Now, these swing dances started in communities, some as dancing, some based on responses to the natural music, and then they gradually came together to be referred to as what we call today swing dance. Surprisingly, there's actually not a connection between swing dancing and the swing era or swing music. Now, the Texas Tommy swing dance first appeared in 1910 in San Francisco, and then into the 20s and the 30s, almost every major city had their own way to dance, and it was based on their regional roots and their regional influences. In fact, Los Angeles had its very own form that they called swing dance, which was based on the Charleston, the foxtrot, and the jig. And then in Chicago and in the South, their styles of swing were more two-step, which were based on the regional dances that came from that area. There was the decline of dance bands and partner dancing after World War II, so swing jazz became focused more on timing steps, dances and music associated actually with the African American communities, a combination of crochets and quavers, what many swing dancers now consider triple steps or steps. Now, the way these rhythms were played, with a distinct delay or relaxed approach to timing being slightly behind the beat, was later incorporated into the swing dancing that took over the whole country. Nowadays, swing dancing exists all over the world, and yes, each city and each part of the country still has its own different type of what's considered swing dance. But the historical development of each style did come all from where the country rose up in the first place. Whether it was the 1920s and the solo Charleston danced to traditional jazz, or the Lindy Charleston to traditional or swing jazz. There's also West Coast swing, which was danced to pop, R&B, blues, or funk, and Western swing, when the push whip, another style of swing dance, which are danced to all types of music. There's even local variations associated with different dance scenes, teachers, particular bands. Swing dance is not just about its historical roots, coming from African American communities, blues, and jazz. There's a huge swing dancing community today, which is popular throughout the United States and Canada. It's even got a huge European contingent that's growing today. Now, in this community, the emphasis is on travel, and it's facilitated by the preponderance of online communities. Now, swing culture, once they went online, also went into the colleges. Students looking for something different, an alternative to more traditional bar cultures or local punk music. They also wanted to find a way to connect with other people. And now once it grew out of the colleges and it grew out of small swing dance clubs or followings of swing dance bands, local forums began to develop and a true swing scene began, including what's called the Exchange, which we're going to be visiting today. Now, swing dancers travel quite regularly. They use their internet forums as an important medium for communication between the local scenes, which can be based either around colleges, particular bands, or a specific dance studio. But during an exchange, dancers from one area will host and open up their homes and their studios with an incredible hospitality to dancers from all over the region. In fact, in this exchange that was just held in York, we had dancers that came from as far away as New York, New Jersey, from down south. In fact, the hospitality of the swing dance scene is considered a huge part of what characterizes it today. In some scenes, it's considered rude to leave a partner without having a second dance. In many scenes, there's unspoken conventions about teachers taking time out to dance with students. Even more experienced dancers making a point of mentoring, working with beginners, and so on. Now, during these exchanges, some people choose to stay in hotels, but frequently the dancers will all stay with each other. Whoever's in the host city will open up their home and there will be dance classes and then dances and concerts and then late night dance jam sessions all the way up till 4 o'clock in the morning. This goes back to the 1930s, even earlier in the culture, when there were what were described as jam circles. Actually, Malcolm X described jam circles in his autobiography. It's a loose circle forming around a couple or individual whose dancing is so impressive, it captures the attention of dancers around them, and everyone stops to cheer, watch, clap. This tradition actually continues in swing communities today, with other couples interrupting, joining, or replacing the original couple, or snowball dances, where one couple will reach out and grab two more, and they'll bring more in until the entire floor is filled. There's a spontaneous and unchoreographed nature to swing dancing and to the swing dance scene, which goes along with the spontaneous and fun development that's happening in that community. People often use the jam or the open swing partner dance format to celebrate special events like birthdays, engagements, weddings. Most of you have seen the dance lessons advertised for weddings or for other special events. But these jams can also happen with a DJ or an MC or as part of a competition. Everyone gets in to cut in or to steal away a partner or just to celebrate and clap and enjoy the partners that are on the floor. It's important to recognize in swing dance culture that the swing dance culture, well, it had its mixed roots during the 1920s, 30s, and 40s. There was a rebellion in the dance that came from the fact that the country was going through a major depression. First, you had the 20s, where people were living it up. Prohibition, rebellion, young people, skirt lengths going from ankles to, well, lots higher up than that, let's just say. And The youth especially, but even people that weren't part of the young community, were looking for a way to express themselves that was full of energy and excitement and movement. And they were all about responding to being able to interact with clubs and speakeasies and gathering places that centered largely around the music and then the dance that was a natural outward expression of hearing that music and wanting to be a part of it, of letting that music live through you fully. Was there drinking involved? Even drug use? Part of the speakeasy movement, of course, was the fact that it was illegal. So some of the earliest, greatest swing dancers were hardly the boys and girls next door. Then you move into the Depression. You're dealing with the war of the 40s and 50s. You're dealing with segregation, the fact that many of the greatest swing dancers were black and not allowed to play in the white clubs where many of their patrons were. You were seeing, for one of the first times, the combination of the jazz culture, which started in the largely African-American communities, blending in with the traditional ballroom dance communities of the Caucasian and other European races that were coming together and recently immigrating to the country at that time. So as each of these different groups from across the country were now merging for the first time in our newly industrialized society, you saw a real change and a real growth in the music and art scene, and swing dancing was what embodied that. Now, swing dancing fell out of popularity in the era of the fabulous disco through the 50s, 60s, and into the 70s and 80s. But in the 90s, bands like the Brian Seltzer Orchestra and Cherry Poppin' Daddies started bringing swing music and big band music, the complicated sounds of horns, strings, keyboards, and pianos being layered over amazing vocals and fast-paced moves and complicated riffs. And shortly after that music reemerged, so did the people that loved to dance to it. Now, swing dancing is happening all over the country. Today, swing dancing is its own counterculture movement, and not like it was in the 20s and 30s because people are rebelling against more traditional music and dance styles, but because people want to return to them, because they want something that's positive, that's life-affirming, that's historical and uniquely American, that doesn't necessarily have to have its tie in a bar or a dance club involving with drinking or partying, something that uses skill and thought that can be a real sense of learning and adventure and history, as well as a really great way to have a good time. Traditional swing dancers, they would have a lot in common with our new swing dancers, but there is a lot of difference in the movement. If you look at the swing dancers today, you'll see that many lean towards West Coast or East Coast swing, prefer Lindy Hop, prefer a lot of action or slow, more classical ballroom dance-inspired moves. But the swing dance culture is definitely sweeping the nation, and it's one that is about working together, about supporting each other, about being a part of the same movement and having a home, sisters, brothers, and best friends anywhere in the country you go where they're willing to play some swing music, clear off the floor, and allow the dancing to begin.
My name is Derek Mast, and I've been swing dancing for probably almost 5 years now.
I'm Tanya Hannay. I've been dancing for 4 years, and I dance mostly in Lancaster, but now and then I get to come out to York, and it's fantastic. It's always a different scene. And I got to go to my first exchange because of Derek in Pittsburgh, and that's really neat because you get to meet people from all over, and the culture of swing is really neat to get to meet different people and learn different moves from traveling around, and some people chase swing all over the country. It's really neat. And you get to meet really cool people and just dance straight through time. So it's cool. Feels like you're out of reality for a little bit. So that's all I got.
Cool. Well, I'm actually I'm a dancer, but I also work as an electrician, which seems like a very interesting dynamic. I get odd looks when I just start breaking out and dance on the job site. So there's that. But it's really interesting how many dancers are like engineers.
Analytical, very analytical.
Yeah. There's a bunch of nerds who come swing dancing. It's awesome. So, yeah. Started swing dancing because of yearly swing dance socials, like through I was homeschooled. I was in part of the homeschool choir. We would have these annual socials where we would swing dance, and that was where I first got into it. And then I heard there was a swing dance in Lancaster. Actually, it was in Millersville at that point. And that's where I really got sucked into Lindy Hop, which is the quintessential swing dance brought about and brought back into existence by Frankie Manning and a bunch of people in New York. And after I started learning Lindy Hop, and then I realized there were events like elsewhere. Like there's a whole swing scene in Philly. There's a great swing club up at State College at Penn State, and Penn State was really where I got my first exposure to the culture of Lindy Hop, which is a bunch of people who just love to dance, who love this this era of music, the swing jazz, and really that's where I started getting my appreciation. And then you have then you have exchanges where just a whole bunch of people come and dance all weekend. Dance, eat, and sleep. Sometimes less sleep, more dancing.
I ate like one meal during the whole weekend and slept 8 hours total in 3 days. It was great.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So
some people chase dance for the dance itself because they're dance nerds, but some people chase it for the relationships, I think, that they pick up along the way, and just the people that you meet are really interesting. So.
Yeah. What is that?
People don't know what swing is anymore.
Yeah, pretty much. I have to explain to them. Well, yeah, I have to explain to them that it's a 20s dance done to jazz, but not like the jazz that you would hear if you turned on the radio. Like that's not very great jazz. That's not like the swinging, awesome dance music. Like this.
See how nerdy?
This is pop music back in the day. This is cool stuff to dance to. But no one knows about it anymore. But except, I mean, it's kind of coming back in style a little bit. At least underground. We've got an underground version. I don't know, what was the question? It's not ballroom dancing at all. It has a completely different aesthetic because it was a street dance back in the day. I mean, I would equate it to hip hop. What hip hop is today. It's a dance where people make stuff up and have fun and are goofy and build off of each other's stuff, and yeah.
I get people who are like, is that with the cowboy hats and the lines? Like, they have no idea what swing is. But I feel like it's coming back. Like, people are starting to learn what swing is.
Yes,
so,
mixing up swing dancing and square dancing. I've had that happen so many times.
An exchange is like straight through dancing. Like, instead of just dancing tonight, like 7 to midnight or however later after midnight, you go and you dance from 12 in the afternoon till 4, and then you go to another location, you dance from 5 to 12, and then you go to another location and you dance from 1 to 4 in the morning, or sometimes 5 in the morning, depending.
And sometimes it'll get stretched depending on how many dancers.
And it's live bands. They have like fantastic live bands that come in instead of just DJ'd, which is fun, but a lot of cool live bands and really pretty places. We danced in this old opera house in Pittsburgh, which was really, really pretty.
Yeah, and the Soldiers and Sailors Museum in Pittsburgh too, which is also very cool. So there's a bunch of, you generally get to see the best of the city, and when you go to an exchange that has been there for that has been going on for several years. So it's a lot of fun to see, the cool buildings that they find for us to dance in. Plus, it really becomes a community thing. Like, going to an exchange, I go and see a bunch of friends that I haven't seen in a while, and I get to go dance with them, and
people open up their homes for you in the city, often free of charge, to just let you stay there. The guy who hosted us had like meals for us and stuff free of charge while we were there, and that's just like the culture and the community of swing, which is really neat to see.
We're all there to have a grand time and
enjoy each other.
Yeah.
Learn things.
Sheena. I came to the swing club because a coworker told me about it, and I was trying to find someone to come with me, and this fine gentleman came with me, so we've been coming since June.
My name is Tim, and I'm so glad that she asked me to come. I'm having so much fun doing dancing. It's good stress relief. It's so much fun.
We definitely dance most here. We are just now starting to branch out into other places, finding other places.
Right. One of the places we go to is Carlisle, and which is mainly West Coast, and it's just so much fun dancing up there. Also, just a West Coast dance.
When people think of swing, they think of Lindy Hop, like what you see in the movies. But actually what happened was America kind of founded swing. So then it broke into the two sides, West Coast and East Coast. And you can't do Lindy, which everyone thinks about as swing. You can't do Lindy without East and West Coast. So
West Coast is what they call a slotted dance. It just goes back and forth in a slot. What they say is the lead, which is me, I get out of the way and let the follow stay on the slot. And then I get back into the slot and finish the move. Now East Coast is basically just a left, right, rock step, left, right, rock step, and with spins and turns and all sorts of other moves put in there. Last weekend, we had a family outing at our local establishment, and I was introducing my family to swing dancing, and they loved it. They didn't know what swing dancing was, so I had to show them this is swing dancing.
They didn't think they could do it.
And they did it.
But we taught them, everyone got to figure out what the basic, so everyone did a little bit of swing in that one night. everyone that I talk to, oh, I want to do that. I want to learn how to do it. I'm like, oh, come on over. It's fun.
All of the work is done by the lead.
No.
The lead does all the work, which is...
The lead does all the work, and then the follow has to know what he's doing as he's doing it backwards and in heels.
So the lead has to be able to communicate through hand holding the follow what's coming up next, which I sometimes have difficulty with, but I'm getting better.
She's my wife. So 6 or 7 years ago, we decided to try to do something fun, and we were just dating, and we said, well, why don't we try swing dancing? So here we are, 7 years later, and we're actually teaching it. We started just learning basic ballroom dances and swing dances, but really focused on Lindy Hop. Balboa is a dance that was invented in the 1920s. The music was very, very fast and hot at the time. In Southern California, there was no room to dance because the ballrooms were packed so much because there was no fire codes. So they tried to get as many people in as possible, and you had to dance as close as you could. So it was a chest-to-chest connection, and over time people invented footwork to go along with that. So it was actually in near South Beach, Balboa Island, in Southern California, and that was developed in the 20s and 30s. And it's very, very rare, but it's actually growing. So we're very excited about it. The swing community right now is nationally based, and if you want to talk more a little bit about that?
I think it's continuing to grow. It seemed like it was originally in cities, and now it's even spreading to like rural and countryside, and it's just flocking, especially the younger crowd. The younger crowd is really starting to get into it, and it's wonderful, and they're so enthusiastic about it. But it spans every generation, and it's great to see generations come together and dance together and work together to better their dancing.
And when this started in New York City, because they were inventing a step, especially the Lindy Hop, they were so surprised at the swing revival back in the 80s when Cherry Poppin' Daddies came out with Zoot Suit Riot. Everything started to take off. So groups in Sweden actually came back to the United States, and they started looking for the original Lindy Hoppers from New York City. And that's where it really started to boom. And that's how we became interested in it. And YouTube has also done a heck of a lot for it, because we didn't have videos years ago to look back and see what is this dance. Now you can sit back for an entire night and review YouTube videos of Lindy Hop, Balboa, almost any dance you want, and just get sucked into that. It's so exciting and so cool to see it.
Board member at the studio, and I'm also an East Coast dance instructor.
My name is Brendan DeVoe. I'm the owner of the establishment York Social Dance Studio. The history would be about 10 years ago. Some wonderful people named Todd and Beth started a group of homeschool students teaching them how to swing dance. The interest grew so much that they bought a studio out on North George over by Cobblestones. It got so big they couldn't they were getting 300 people there on any given Friday, so they had to move over to this bigger studio where you are here on 324 West Market. And it's just been continually getting bigger and bigger, changing hands a few bit from president to president until it finally got into my hands, and we made it our full effort to take it as far as we can go and really share the world of dance. Not only just swing dancing, other styles of social dance as well at this point. In social aspect, it's not quite like break dancing or hip hop or very solo. It's social, so you're supposed to dance with a partner, usually partner dances, all in the realm of ballroom dancing, which is about 15 different styles of dance. On Tuesdays, we have our ballroom class, which covers any of the 15, anywhere from, say, waltz, any of the Latin dances like rumba, cha-cha, tango, bachata, all the smooth dances, foxtrot, waltz, swing, everything about that's in the ballroom dance. There's more than that I can name off the top of my head. There's so many, but that's a whole, wow, there's a lot of dances.
I'd always known about swing dance in New York since I was little. My mom played in a big band, so I was just kind of used to the whole swing dance thing. I'd never really done it. I started when I was 16, 17, something like that. I came here with a friend, and I guess I just never stopped. So I've been dancing for 5 years now, and I love it so much I've never stopped dancing.
I started about 4 years ago, was president for 2 years, now owner for these past 2 years of everything, and I literally started with my sister dragging me, and I hated my first time. I was so bad at it, I was so awkward, I didn't really enjoy it, but everyone kept saying, come back, so I came back a couple more times, and eventually I fell in love with it. After I graduated college and wasn't doing anything, I was starting to dance 4 and 5 nights a week, to the point where it's taken my life over.
We're all one giant family, different friend groups at different scenes, and if you go to an exchange, which is basically an entire weekend of dancing, sometimes you get lessons, there's competitions, you make friends from all over the world. Swing dancing is an international dance. You can go basically anywhere in the world and find swing dancing and make friends with them, and you don't even have to know the language. You can make friends with someone who speaks a completely different language just by dancing with them, and it's just one giant family, and it's a fantastic thing to do. I've made some of the best friends of my life dancing here.
we have such an array of age groups. Depending on where the swing, like a swing scene pops up, if it's in a college town, a lot of college students will go to it. If it's in a smaller town that has a really big church youth group, usually youth groups go out to it, so there can be a huge group of 14 and unders. We have age ranges all over the board. Our youngest dancer, Liam's about 4, and all the way up to one of my favorite follows. I believe she turned 96, either 96 or 97 this year, and she is phenomenal.
Yeah, we have a World War II veteran who actually dances at the studio sometimes as well.
There's such a respect in the culture and the subcultures of dancing, not just swing and other cultures, but everyone just holds themselves to a higher standard. No one wants to just be known for straight partying. They want to be learning. They want to be continually grow the scene, make it a better scene, and make it so all the age ranges that we have from the younger kids from 13 and up come. No one wants to see them come into a group think of it's just a normal club with really heavy bass, flashing lights, and everybody's getting really, really drunk. No one really wants to be that scene. They want to carry themselves a little higher, I believe.
Yeah, I would agree.
I believe it was interesting to start out with that. There was always some people have reservations, but I feel that by stating and just telling everybody that we're all just here to my golden rule is to have fun. If you came dancing and you didn't think you were going to have fun, you shouldn't have came in the first place. So when anyone has a problem, I try and say, look, it's for the better of the dance. Is there any real reason that it should bother you? And I always open it if it really does, if you have really moral beliefs that it's a problem, that I understand, but no one really cares. Everyone's just here to have such a good time that it doesn't matter. I've seen people dance with brooms because they didn't have a partner randomly for that one song because someone went to the bathroom, and they're just having fun. Everyone's laughing. No one really worries about anybody else except for their partner for that dance, which is really cool.
Oh my goodness. Well, I hope that you enjoyed our little venture travels into the land of swing dance. I hope you learned a lot about the culture, about the amazing people that make it happen, and about the fact that, once again, York City turns out to be the hub of destination, travel, fun, and enjoyment. In fact, I would say that the York swing dance scene is seriously hopping, no pun intended.
Absolutely, no pun intended.
So how would you say that the York swing dance scene is different from other scenes and some of the other places that you travel to?
Well, one of the things I really like about the scene here is that we do mix in the ballroom dancing more, so that when we have a swing night, there will be a cha-cha, there will be a waltz.
Getting wild.
Yeah, getting wild and crazy with the Latin stuff. So, well, waltzes are really Latin. But yeah, I like the fact that York Social Dance Studio mixes it up and keeps it all on the table. No specializing, no particular favorite, just everybody's favorite.
Well, there you go. Not only is York an amazing place to come to for social dance, but social dance and the swing dance culture is an amazing thing to take part of and to check out no matter where you are. So find a swing dance club near you, find a dance studio near you, get off your couch, get off your seat, and make some music. So once again, for Culture in Maine, which you can make sure to check out Culture in Maine on Facebook, Culture and Maine on Twitter, Culture in Maine at WRCT.tv. You can find us there or email us at cultureinmaine@gmail.com. I'm happy to join you, and I'm happy to have introduced
Kristin Cole,
our fabulous co-host for the evening. Enjoy your night.
Thank you. Left and right, strange and charm. It's an alchemy that breeds angels and appetites alike. I lie here in the night, contemplating particles, their forces and fractals, widows' peaks and wives' tales, bride burning and fool's gold. Some say that matter begins with strings. Like us, we started with strings. We led each other along foolish edges, treading pages raveled and unrolled. It's time to make the sky shift. From music to truth. From sense to nonsense, and then back again. You see, there are 4 integral forces in the universe. Einstein became intimate with the suffocating force of constant motion. From there, he spun dreams, myths of long lives and frozen children. Gravity curving like a woman's back, and light, constant, loyal, unchanging. We search for God in small corners, in darkness, algorithmic variables and smoky bars. But have we checked the light? It is scriptural, practical, possessing all forms, both the wave and the ball, and ultimately a string. God is light, and Einstein is its prophet. There is no God but light, and Einstein is its prophet. There is no God but light, and Einstein is the prophet. God is light, and we are all its children, blinded and stunned, stumbling for the darkness we strive. Even as the moon waits, we strive for perfect darkness.
really excited about this. I love the atmosphere, and I just want to know more about it.
I see it evolving, changing, growing, and I like it.
It's fleeting. Once it happens, once a song comes out, once a poem comes out, it'll never come out the same.
Some of the culture in Maine is documenting what's going on in a way that will have that lasting staying power.
It just breeds health, growth. It's a necessity. It's a necessity, yes.